July 2026 is stacked with awesome anime coming very soon, but why not take a step back from all of those mainstream shows and give the underdogs a chance to be known? Because I can guarantee these anime I'm about to give you all are going to be very underrated and underwatched by so many people out there. Mark all these anime down for when the time is right, and let us dive right in, baby. If you're tired of overpowered protagonists saving the world every season, then the Frontier Lord Begins with Zero Subject actually offers something completely different, and that is a more relaxing, kingdom-building anime starting from nothing to becoming a full-grown community. A legendary soldier who spent his entire life fighting in brutal wars, after years of service, he's finally rewarded by the kingdom with his own territory. But there's just one problem. When he arrives, he discovers his new domain is absolutely nothing but empty grasslands. Kingdom-building fantasy anime has become increasingly popular these days, and this series leans fully onto that concept, because instead of focusing on non-stop battles, the story explores farming, diplomacy, community building, and creating a society where different races can actually live together. This man spent his entire life just being called talentless and useless, but then reincarnated 400 years later into the future and discovered he's actually stronger than every mage alive. Instead of becoming stronger throughout the story, the main protagonist Eftal starts at the very top. The fun actually comes from watching a legendary mage enter an era where centuries of magical knowledge have been lost, allowing him to casually perform, magical spells that seem absolutely impossible to everyone around him. Now, for fans of characters like Anos from Misfits of Demon King Academy, or let's say Ray from the Iceblade Sorcerer Shall Rule the World, Eftal delivers the exact same satisfying experience of watching an underestimated genius overwhelm every single mage around him. There's an orphanage or a school where children are raised to then die in war, but one girl falls in love with the only person who can never die. Now, if you're looking for something different, darker, and more emotional than the usual fantasy anime, I Want to Love You Till Your Dying Day is actually one of the most unique new series that will be arriving in July of 2026. Now, what immediately stands out or makes the series good is actually the contrast between innocence and tragedy. But beneath the fantasy setting lies a very heartbreaking story about finding love, hope, and human connection in a world built around death. Now, for fans out there who want dark anime with an overpowered, immortal protagonist in the era of war and bloodshed, then you gotta give this one a shot. Now, for fans out there who loved the palace intrigue of Apothecary Diaries, but wanted more, something related to body swapping, chaos, and political drama, Though I Am an Inept Villainess is the anime that you need to keep your eyes open for that will be airing in July. Now, one girl that you have is admired by the whole kingdom, but then on the other hand, the other is hated and treated as an outcast. Now, the main character, Rerin, may now live in a frail body that everybody just looks down on, but her intelligence, kindness, and determination quickly turn the tables on everyone who underestimated her. But watching her overcome impossible situations while her own rival struggles to maintain Rerin's former reputation just creates some incredibly satisfying moments.
をしていたんです。お兄ちゃんといた方が長生きできそう。アイテムを買ってくれたお兄さん。久しぶりに迷宮に行きたくなった。
Everybody out there has the absolute same mindset. They just want to be the hero on the front lines. But what if the strongest class in the world is actually the one standing safely in the back as the support? After dying in an accident, The main protagonist, Arihito, is reincarnated into a fantasy world built entirely around RPG mechanics, dungeon exploration, and party roles. Thinking the rear guard class sounds like a safe support position, he quickly discovers that absolutely nobody has chosen this class before, and it might be secretly, the strongest one in the entire world. Arihito's abilities allow him to just buff allies, manipulate enemy positions, and completely control the flow of combat from the back lines. The result feels less like a traditional isekai, and more like watching an expert RPG player build the perfect party composition. Now, if you love fantasy romance with overpowered female protagonists or heroines, hidden abilities, and satisfying revenge against everyone who underestimated the main character, then this is one of the biggest sleeper hits of July 2026 for sure.
ですか？
はい、早ければ明日にでも。
私は絶対に許さない。彼の真なる価値を示せ。この心が
The main protagonist, Carolina, is treated like the family's disappointment. But when political circumstances force her into an arranged marriage with a feared prince from a neighboring kingdom, everyone assumes she's just being cast aside or thrown out. But she unknowingly possesses overwhelming saint powers that continuously spill out of her, and blessings and healing those nearby without even realizing it. And it turns out the true saint was never her sister. It was Carolina all along.
私とそなたはそこにはおらぬ。
生きろ。
流因の血を
何故死ぬ。
我が命まで求めるか。
何故。
When you have one of the greatest of all time action games ever made by From Software, or Souls-like, that gets an anime adaptation, expectations are just automatically sky high. Sekiro No Defeat follows Wolf, a one-armed shinobi sworn to protect his young lord Kuro after failing his mission and losing everything. Wolf then embarks on a brutal journey across war-torn Japan to rescue Lord Kuro and uncover the secrets of immortality. Now, the original game won so many game awards and Game of the Year especially, and built a massive fan base thanks to its unforgettable boss fights and dark storytelling. It's also been confirmed that the entire project or anime is fully hand-drawn and 2D animation, which I'm so excited for. I seriously can't wait for this anime adaptation to come out. Woo! Finally, Sekiro is back, baby! She was just an ordinary high school student until a jealous queen dragged her 3,000 years into the past and turned her into the center of an empire's battle for the throne.
エムロとデートしてたのよ。なのになんで全部
The series blends in historical fiction, romance, political intrigue, and adventure in a way that feels more like an epic drama than just your typical fantasy anime. But every decision carries real consequences, and the setting just gives the story a unique identity rarely seen in anime. Historical consultants are actually even involved within the anime's adaptation to help bring the ancient world to life, which I can sure appreciate a lot, and probably many others out there. Now, this will definitely be a sleeper pick of the season for sure.
デレデレしやがって。
魔法だと。
あなたはどれだけの
Long ago, Hanori and Narukami were mortal enemies in another world. She was the legendary hero, and he was the demon king that she defeated. And after being reincarnated in modern-day Japan, both of them, they should finally be able to live peaceful lives. But it was actually the complete opposite. The series here blends in reverse isekai, romantic comedy, and action into a hilarious story about two former rivals who can't really escape their past, even after reincarnation. Now, with Leiden Films handling the adaptation and a July 2026 premiere confirmed, fans are already calling it one of the sleeper hits of the summer season, which I can guarantee is true. Their chaotic relationship creates a perfect mix of romance and comedy and action. But honestly, think of this anime as just a copy to The Devil as a Part-Timer, which honestly, I believe it is, and fans will surely enjoy it.
お前にだけは言われたくねえ。
ちょっとロックさん困るんだけど。
あとは俺に任せろ。
He held back an endless army of demons alone for 10 long years, but when he finally came home, everyone cared about him has already moved on. Yeah, that's kind of sad. But he's now considered a legendary hero of the past, and now no longer remembered by his companions, and begins a new adventure with a brand new name. But after fighting the monsters non-stop for 10 years in an endless war against demons, his strength has reached a level that nobody in the current era can even comprehend. But instead of focusing entirely on action, this anime explores what happens after the hero saves the world. Now, for viewers who enjoy seeing an absurdly powerful protagonist surprise everyone around him while navigating a world that just moved on without him, this could be one of the summer 2026's biggest sleeper hits. If this video that you're watching did help that empty space by giving you all more anime to watch, which I hope it did, then do give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below which anime you're going to be watching from this list. And until next time, I will see you all in the next video.